fnaf is a one-run tower defense strategy mascot horror franchise where you have to keep animatronics out of your office. I don't have to tell you about the games and all of their spin-offs. They're so recognizable that mentioning animatronics and horror sounds bound to bring up Freddy Fazbear and his iconic design, that top hat and also boopable nose. With engaging intense gameplay, the series was a shoehorn in for success. With all of the sequels, spin-offs, and an army of YouTubers ready to milk it to the point of becoming a good old-fashioned meme. And with popularity came a fandom, and that fandom made a ton of fan-made content. This includes music, animations, fan art, and memes. And, oddly enough, today's subject, fan-made games. Thanks to the good old-fashioned Fazbear Fan First initiative by Scott Coffin, he has given his blessing to make FNAF fan games as long as you don't hurt the reputation of FNAF or use his assets. It's completely okay to make any and all FNAF fan games. Really cool of him. Anyway, let's stop wasting time and head into the video. I found 4 FNAF fan games that you might enjoy, and these are things I find interesting. Let us begin.
You are dead!
One Night at Flumptys, the game that started it all, unless you include Treasure Island, of course. The reason I'm looking at this instead of that is because it was the game that started the Fan First initiative, I think. I was running out of time and I did some research. You may blame me in the comments.
You fat, bald piece of subhuman trash!
But anywho, this game has a ton of charm. Man, just look at it. From the characters to the office to all of the mechanics, this game is so charming you can't help but love it. Like, look at Flumpty. He is the epitome of a cartoon character, yet he somehow manages to be creepy. Same as Birthday Boy Blam. He's cute on camera, and look at his style version. But when he's at the door, he's an outrage abomination. Which applies to all these versions in every Flumpty's game, believe it or not. Right then, mechanic-wise, it's similar to FNAF 1. Like, for instance, Birthday Boy Blam and Flumpty are Bunny and Chica. They hang out by the doors and you close the door on them. Redman, the pile of flesh you see here, is pretty much Freddy. He blocks out the cameras whenever he shows up, and he looks bloody terrifying. And same with the beaver. This inbred creature is Foxy, and instead of hanging out in his own private stage, he hangs out in Flumpty's Funhouse's bathroom with an Easter egg riddled newspaper. There's good old-fashioned Golden Flumpty. He works exactly the same as Golden Freddy, and there's only one animatronic with no mechanics borrowed from FNAF 1, and that's Grumpfist the Clown. I hate him. The reason why is because how he works. During the night, he will pop up from your wall. And whenever you pull up your monitor to see the camera, he will get a bit closer. If he reaches you, he'll kill you. And mind you, if Golden Flumpty shows up, you're forced to bring up the monitor. So if you're unlucky enough, this rare Easter egg of a character becomes your killer. Thanks to this bloody manta. Oh, and what's funny about this character is you can actually see how many flips you have of the monitor before he kills you by looking at the specific room. That's a weird fact, isn't it? Halfway inspired characters aside, this game still gets my applause. It was pretty much the first fan game to do its own thing with its characters. Instead of 3D models, this game has pretty much original cartoon characters. Flumpty is a terrifying character, even before he was fleshed out in the later games. He is so insane. He kidnapped you and forced you in his funhouse to play a death game.
Hi, I'm Flumpty Bumpty. I'm an egg. I'm immune to the plot and I can transcend time and space. Also, I'm coming after you.
How's that for an original character? He's not an animatronic that's somewhat aware. He is fully aware of what he's doing it, and he enjoys it. And he has magical abilities. This game is definitely the fan game that started the FanFresh initiative. Like, this game may not have that many original mechanics, but it's the one that started it, if you know what I mean. Like, this game has so much charm, well-made, hand-drawn animations, and such a great art style. And this game started a franchise of One Night at Flumptys. From One Night at Flumptys 2 to 3, this game is all of them are very, very great. They're all worth playing through if you have the time. They're free, I tell you. I put the links to their Game Chop page in the description. You should play to download them all and play them. Play them, I say. The mechanics are very identical to FNAF 1, like I said. It was simply the one that started the FanFresh initiative. I thought it just needed its introduction. Now then, I'm gonna go over more original FNAF fan games next. Oh, post voiceover me, I forgot to mention that if you click on the star after beating One Night at Flumptys, you get an Easter egg. This game is incredible. Oh, and I also forgot, the game has one night, and more mechanics are added on and on as the night goes on. Sorry for telling you this now. I'm not doing a script, I'm simply doing a voiceover with my raw thoughts. Sorry for the inconvenience. Off I go. And remember about Flumpty. He may be able to transcend time and space and be immune to the plot, like he says. But he's only the second most terrifying egg. First place goes to...
Yodel yum and choco scrum with multi-pop dies! Oh, grubby!
I could not do a proper transition to... Tyke and Sons Lumber Co., the fan-made sequel to Chipper and Sons. But Spot Toys, it's not a FNAF fan game, it's a Chipper and Sons fan game. Normally you would be right, but this game is 2 in 1. It has day segments and night segments. During the day, it's Chipper and Sons, but during the night, it's FNAF 4. For this mini review, I'll be mostly talking about the FNAF segments, but I will talk a little about the segments of the day. Warning, they're a nightmare. Why though? During the day, you have to go around your little area and plant trees, chop trees, and you encounter these weed fiends. And you deal with them by spraying water on them. And once they're dead, you collect the gift they drop. And you use the items you acquire from these critters to put down placements on buildings and such. And that's just one of the objectives you have to do for the day. Other times will require you to play a mini game or just do a certain thing like collect a certain amount of wood. The gameplay loop during the day is fun, but there's some complications. But before the complications, I'll tell you a bit about the story. A tiny bit, don't want to spoil it, it's actually quite charming and quite enjoyable with some funny moments. But I'm going to talk about mostly gameplay. So right now, currently, the story is that your father, who's his father, is gone missing. And your father, the boy from Chipper and Sons, still haven't started, sorry. Basically, he got married and had a son, blah blah blah, put you in charge of his little workstation and off you go. That's a story. Oh, and just for a little spoiler, one of the funnier bits is that there's a complication with the law. And during a bit, Tyke, the character you play as, knocks the cop out. And guess what? The father has you dump his body in the street. But that's all for story. If you want to figure it out, download the game in the description. Right then, problems of the day section. Grind. You see, there are moments where you have to grind for many materials, and guess how inconsistent the material you need to progress comes by. It's completely random. So if you need one specific material, it could take you, what happened to me, 1 hour of doing this. Trust me, my sanity was leaking out my ears. And here's a recreation of my acting. Oh boy, that was a fun tutorial and a fun first night. I guess I gotta get some rocks.
2 hours later.
I'm still collecting materials and I still haven't got one gold rock. I still haven't gotten a gold rock.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new.
Come on, surely I don't have to keep doing this. Surely I need to do something. I better look it up. What does the wiki say? The biggest problem with the day segments is the grind and the RNG you need. Like, I am not kidding. Most YouTubers who play this game hack the game to get the items they need. Which is reasonable. Honestly, I wish I'd done it at some aspects, but due to principle and me wanting to beat games fairly and legitimately, without cheating, I never did it. I regret it now. And there are some neat mini games which are quite fun. I won't show any of them in the video for spoilers. Don't want to ruin them. But just know that if you play this game, be ready to test your limits on grind. Because there are moments where I just grind it, either because I got bored or the game bugged out, where I'd be stuck on a tree for all eternity. So I'll close the game and play some other game for a bit and return back to it. This game took 4 hours of grinding sometimes. My agony ended when the credits roll. And a good saving grace is some of the buildables you place will automatically generate the materials over time. So it does make grinding a bit easier, but having to sit and wait for materials to manifest in your placeables is just so annoying at bits because you have nothing to do. There's a part where you just have to sit around and wait for gold, and I did enjoy the game. Right then, off to the night segments. And there the reward for dealing with torment of day. Once daddy boy is done bossing you around and decides to send you to bed, you are sent to your good old-fashioned beddy bye. And during the night you have to keep animatronics, which, fun fact, you built yourself. That's right, you created your own threat. And now that and also when you talk to certain characters and during bits of the day, they tell you about certain robots they had in the past, and they decide to come visit you during the night.
Mr. Krabs, can I have a raise?
No.
Right, mechanic time. Okay, gameplay wise, you have your room and you have your bed. There's this door here and there's the windows. Animatronics will appear on these windows, and using your trusty flashlight to see, which has batteries you need to refill in your bedroom, you gotta flash the window, and if there's an animatronic there, close the curtain, and he will eventually go away. Think FNAF 4. I count we don't own FNAF 4. And there's also the doors and this light here. Every now and then you'll get a special guest. And I'll talk about him in the mechanics bit of this, which is now. Right, for the windows you have Chippertron 1, 2, and 3. They all appear at the window every now and then. Close the curtains on them when you see them and they'll go away. And they'll leave an audio cue. 1 and 3 will leave an audio cue, while 2 is silent. And if you fail to cover them up, they will jump scare you. These are the first starting boys, and they all appear when you place them down. Must be angry about you not paying them properly, or something. Oh, and this big fella here? He's actually a sweetheart, as it says in his description. He's too nice to attack you. Big Bruce, your employee of the month. Next up is the lights, and you need to turn them off like I said earlier when you hear Mr. Oh, I forgot his name. Hang on now. Seaberry. And he will make a notable sound.
Come on, sing along.
And when he makes this sound, clear off everyone else and turn off the lights and he'll pass by. I've never been caught by him with the lights on, but I think he'll jump scare you if he sees you. And pretty simple animatronic, but can be stressful when you're dealing with everyone at once. Another light-related bot is Phantom Chipper. He will randomly jump scare you whenever you turn off the lights, and he'll drain a ton of your batteries. He's not really a threat if you're good at managing your batteries. Like, this is the only time I ever got jump scared, probably, because I never really died in this game. Anyway, yeah, he'll appear when you turn off the lights and all that. That's the lights for ya. Next up is the door.
FBI, open up!
There are two animatronics that appear in the door. Well, like, there's good old, Crab Trap? Oh yeah, Crab Trap if I remember correctly. Hang on, I'll be right. Yep, Spring Crab. Funny pun, funny pun. Anyway, basically whenever he shows up, flash the door left and right like a police siren until he goes away. This bit drains your battery a ton, but it's kind of a cool thing how you literally just gotta mimic a police siren. Another animatronic is Nightmare Chipper, or Kill Timber as the wiki calls him. The wiki both calls him Kill Timber and Nightmare Chipper. I don't know why. Anyway, whenever he shows up, you just flash him until he goes away. And what's cool about Nightmare Chipper is he will sometimes appear in your bed. Yep, he's there. And if you see him, immediately retreat. And return immediately to see if he's not there. He's the only animatronic that appears in your bedroom. And it's really, really cool how he just appears there. Very effective jump scare. And the fact that the added stress of collecting your battery really quickly and retreating is very, very stressful. And very, very, very well bounced. Like, everything fits together. I haven't unlocked the custom mode yet because I gotta play more of this game. I played the main game, I'll play it again later. Ugh. Anyway, as I was saying, every animatronic is quite fan bounced. The fact that they're mentioned during the day is quite exciting. It all flows together very, very well and has some uniqueness to it. Sure, it's similar to FNAF 4. You know, the doors are the curtains and the flashlight's flashlight. Yes, flashlight is flashlight. It's quite a fair FNAF gameplay loop. And there is one final animatronic, but I won't mention him because spoiler related. Though my biggest gripe with this game is the difficulty. The night segments are very easy. Like, that's probably gonna change when I eventually unlock custom mode, but in the main game, the main animatronics they're a bit hard. But they're nowhere near as hard as FNAF 1's later nights, you know? On FNAF 2 and FNAF 3 and etc. Like, for instance, I have never got jump scared at all during my time in the nights. Not game over. Phantom don't count. Like, with every other game I've done a review in this vid, I got jump scared a ton. But this game is pretty easy. So that's the Nike setbacks as far as I'm gonna talk about. Very well balanced, very fun, and pretty unique style. How it's, instead of an office, you're in a bedroom. No, you're in your whole house. And Daddy is locked in the base, is living in the attic while you're doing all this. Closing thoughts on Tycoon Sun's Lumber Co. It's a great game. I haven't talked that much about the day segments because this is a FNAF vid, but another top is it's very grindy. Like, I spent 4 hours grinding at one point for the rock. Yep. It's entirely RNG based but to get the items you need. There's some cool mini games that break up the monotony. But grind! Go left, go right. Kill these stump fiends, collect gifts, and hallelujah. If the power of God himself bless you, he will grant you the item you need to progress. And thankfully, for some places will give you stuff over time. But just imagine, like, I would not recommend this game if you're not willing to sit through it, the grind. I understand why some content creators hack the game to get the items they need. But on the other hand, it kinda makes the nights more special, you know? But anyway, like, whether grinding for the good stuff is up to you. When the credits eventually rolled, I had a great time personally. Except for grind. But this is Terraria, but without any of the adventure. Now then, in terms of grind. Now then, that's pretty much Tycoon Sons. It's quite a good game. And if you're not willing to sit for the grind, I can't help you. Figure out how to hack it yourself. Now then. Next game. Oh yeah. Father? Get your lazy butt out of the house and help me kill these stumpy creatures. You and Sporterline enslaved me. And get locks for the doors, for God's sake. I'm literally at the risking my life for you. Do it or I'll call in Child Protective Services. That joke probably didn't land, or I don't know. Anyway, to close my thoughts, sorry, I just need to say more. This game's quite good. The grind's awful, but if you swallow the leprechaun whole, I think you might be lucky enough to play this game. And if you're lucky enough, you can grind his siblings into a paste and rub them in your cream and turn them into cream, and you should be fine. I don't know. Find a leprechaun. Get him to play this game for you during the day segments. Ugh. RNG is the worst part of this game. The nights are a bit easy, but they're fun. And there's some very charming moments. Brilliant fan-made sequel. FNAF-wise, but chipper and Sun-wise, it's about as grindy as the original game. Definitely did a good job at capturing the original feel. Okay, I'll stop talking about this game. Time to move on to, let's see. Ah, do you like escape rooms?
I want to play a game.
We're nearing the epilogue, people. Today we're gonna go over the Glitched Attraction, a game I hold in high regard. Like this game is the second best one of this video. Best one's coming last, but you see, like this game is very unique. It's a mixture of a good old-fashioned FNAF experience, but with escape room elements, which is pretty exciting. It has the free roam gameplay of FNAF Security Breach, but instead of being thrown in an oversized pizza palace, you're thrown in tiny rooms and have to solve some puzzles while invading animatronics, and you have to solve the puzzle before your time runs out. If you run out of time, you will die. If you get caught, you will die. So you have to, let's see, well, you pretty much have to solve the puzzle and get out to the next room. It's a very stressful completing a puzzle while invading the animatronics, and the time limit can be a nightmare at times, but we'll go over it when we get over it. In order for me to best explain this game, I think the best way for me to explain it to you is to go over it step by step until the part where I stop for spoilers. Alright, let's begin. You receive a call from your friend which informs you of a brand new hot attraction called the Glitched Attraction. An escape room style place that's dedicated to, well, to dedicating all of the quote unquote lies of the Freddy Fazbear Incorporated.
Since 1987, where the robots come to life, a murderer roams the place, and accidents happened in the back rooms. Do not link to the 2027 accident.
Interested, you mosey on there? Partake in this escape room. Sign a waiver, and hear a bunch of concerning warnings.
As fear, panic, injuries, extreme sweating, epilepsy, fainting, heart attacks, and their variations.
Go through a short tutorial, and off you go in room 1. And as you can see, it's FNAF 4 themed. After investigating the room for a bit, you start the puzzle. And you start to investigate your room once again, hoping to find answers to the puzzle, such as opening drawers, opening cabinets galore, while panicking while listening to weird noises. And you stumble upon this puzzle, missing a piece and has to be rearranged. Then suddenly Nightmarian's tendrils appear, and because the game doesn't really tell you how to put on the suit properly, you die. First death, but a good old-fashioned learning experience. Start the escape all over again and get straight back to the puzzle theme. This is when I didn't know there was a piece that was missing. Most players on their first attempt will become so focused on trying to solve this puzzle that they'll completely forget that this is a FNAF game where you have to avoid stuff, at least with me. Which results in our good old friend Nightmare BB. Any moment now. After being cut in half, you get back to the puzzle, and then shortly you've finally figured out how to put on the suit, which allows you to avoid threats like Nightmarian. And then sadly, you instantly panic because of the blurry mess, because there's also, you know those little Freddies? I forgot what they're named, but you see him in the lower right corner? Down by the window? Yep. The moment he goes away, the fiend starts to go. And this is my first time with this mechanic, so I was very confused, but I figured out that they need to go away. So I get back to the puzzle, making sure to do everything while checking BB by flashing them every now and then. And here I was so focused on Nightmare Flatbear that I got jump scared by other means.
Insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again.
I couldn't resist that gag. So you're likely to continue doing the puzzle while avoiding BB, and you will eventually figure out how to put on the suit properly. You have to hold, not press. You figure out how to counter all the animatronics, hold the blinds, put on the suit and flash BB. Don't take out context. But eventually you'll learn to explore the room a bit better, such as opening drawers to find stuff that might help you. Until eventually you find a key. And you insert it in this lock here, and then you find another key in the drawer next to it. You open it and haha, the piece you need to complete the puzzle. And then you solve the puzzle, which gives you a code. And you head to the safe that's been here the whole time and you input the code. Which gives you a hammer, which you use to tear down the boards that have been blocking your escape. And in my case, you will narrowly escape death because the time ran out the moment you escaped. As you see behind me with Nightmare Bonnie. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the gameplay loop of the Glitch attraction. Enter a room, die a bunch of times while trying to figure out the puzzle, trial and error your way through it until you eventually beat the puzzle. It is very, very satisfying. I won't spoil any more. You can download the game and experience them yourself, but take my word for it, this game is fantastic. Multitasking is the name of the game. If you get too engrossed in the puzzles, you will die, like so. While mostly good, there are some nitpicks, like my good friend RNG. Like for instance, there's a bit in room 2 where you need to collect some gears. Their placement is random and certain spots, and as you can see in the gameplay here, you can spend a long time trying to find them all. And if you die, you lose them all and they're all put in different spots. RNG can make this bit a nightmare because trying to find them is way stressful on top of everything else. If they were in the same spots all the time, it would have been a lot better in my opinion. I really don't like RNG in puzzle games. Like for instance in room 3, the code you need to progress is in a random spot. So if it's not in the right spot for you, or for me, I just headed back to the main menu and hoped for a better placement. It might be cheating, but I don't care. Because there's a time limit, wasting time trying to find the code could pretty much kill off an attempt. So anyone where I have to look for the code for a bit, I consider a dead attempt and just head back to the main menu. Room 3 is the worst room for me so far because its time limit is so strict. that any time wasted could be a death sentence. Oh, and can I tell you a little story I encountered? A certain part of room 3, which is FNAF 3 themed, requires you to open an escape mechanism with a key. And getting a key is really difficult. But when I did get the key, guess what happened? I inserted it and opened the escape route. And you think I'd be able to get out, but the door wouldn't open. Guess what happened? Key needed to be turned, and because I forgot to turn the key, I had to do the 15 minutes to get here all over again. I know it's an overused joke, but... Phobia the Awakening, the crown jewel of today's video. This game is so good. It's fantastic. How can I even describe it? Well, first things first, this game is in Blender. That's right. As you can see, it's made using Blender as the game engine. And look at the title screen, it's so good. I'll stop wasting time, let's begin. But I'll tell you right now, you don't need to watch this full thing. This thing's fantastic. Alright, let's begin. Right then, first things first. The visuals. 10 out of 10. As you can see, everything is so detailed. Just look at the office. All of the clutter. And it's in full 3D. And a full 360 view. And the animatronics, although low poly compared to the rest of the environments, are still detailed, and the low poly I think makes them look even creepier. Right, that's enough of the visuals, otherwise this video will be 2 hours long. So then, what makes this game stand out so much from all of the other videos? Well, how can I explain?
He's just standing there, menacingly!
That's right, because the game is in real time, the animatronics are fully animated in their movements, which in my opinion makes them very scary, and the way they animate it, it's very detailed and fits an animatronic that's been left to rot in a warehouse for ages. And this real-time element applies to the mechanics too, because unlike other FNAF games where you press a button and you put on a mask, you have to click on the mask to put it on, which you can misclick if you're panicking, which really adds to the suspense. I had a panic attack once while playing this game. This is the only FNAF game that genuinely scared me this whole video. But why don't I go over the mechanics, because the story, the boss, all of the stuff like that should be for you to figure out when you play this game. Because out of all of the games in this video, this is the one you should play. Not that all of the others are bad, but this one is the best one in my opinion. Right then, let's begin. First things first is the door guys. They are... I forgot their names. Oh god. I was forced to watch the Wiggles countless times with my niece when I was younger. Oh dear, hang on, let me look up their name. Mary and Jeff, of course. How could I forget Jeff? This is the bit where I would include a quip, but I'm afraid of being copyrighted. Alright, so these two behave similarly to the other door animatronics of most FNAF games. But there's no door, there's only mask, and unlike FNAF 2, which I don't own, sorry, blank this, you don't make a mask sit there for 30 seconds and wait for them to go away. Instead, you have to wait for them to get right next to you and put on a mask when they arrive. Really intense when you juggle and everything else. And thanks to their heavy footsteps, you can hear them every time they get closer to you. And because they're both Jeff and Mary, it's been years since I watched the Wiggles. And when they do get close to you, you get a very harsh audio cue. So it's rather fair having to juggle everything. And the fact that they inspect you when they get close is really cool. I'm sorry, I say cool a lot. Like, the door animatronics are 10 out of 10 with how good they are. The fact that they move kinda like zombies, and their footsteps, and something I'll go over later that makes them even more creepy in my opinion, which with other games completely does the opposite. Alright, you should play this game. I'm awkward most of the time. Okay, that's the door animatronics done. Next up, this elf on the shelf looking fella in front of you. Meet Jimmy. At least I think his name is Ginny. I have no idea about the Wiggles. It's been ages. And no, I refuse to watch it. Jimmy the elf will sit across from you on the table and will stare at you the whole night. And he will slowly get active whenever you're not looking at him. And when he gets too aggressive, you have to shock him. Shock him too much, he will get more and more active until he'll just become so aggressive before the thing recharges and kills you. He is the biggest threat, aside from a certain other boyo you will talk about later. Like for instance, when juggling everyone else, if you forget to check on him, you'll die. Definitely a great animatronic. So in a nutshell, if you look away from him, he'll become aggressive and kill you. If you shock him too much, he'll become so aggressive too quickly and kill you. 10 out of 10 animatronic. Alright, next one. I should stop saying 10 out. Alright, sorry. Sims' game is so good, I don't want to spoil it for you, so I think you should play this game yourself. That's why I'm not going into that many details, because, well, it's best to experience yourself. My awkward self really won't do a thing to explain it, but I'll do my best anyways. Alright, here's the vent boys. Anthony and Greg. Your garden variety of vent animatronic. They appear in the vents and will get closer, and you need to seal them off. The neat little twist is that they will try to get to you at the exact same time, and you need to close the vents on whoever's closer. Sometimes they're at the very edge, and you have to constantly swap between the vents and hope one of them goes away. This little trick got me killed a lot. And as you can see, the game seamlessly transitions to jump scares, where in other games the animatronic would just pop in your face. There's a little transition where the enemy and the 3D world just transitions to a jump scare. It makes it a lot more terrifying in my opinion. And another thing that makes this game so scary is the eerie noises you hear, and how the soundtrack will slowly ramp up in beat and flare as you get closer to 6 AM. And I'm keeping this reveal short, sorry, don't want to spoil it too much. There's the pilot. Feathersword, if I remember correctly. He's the Foxy of this game, and boy, if you don't keep track of him, he will be a nightmare to deal with. He's also similar to Puppet. So basically how he works is that he be in his designated room and you need to check on him. And if you forget to check on him, he'll disappear and appear in a random room. And you need to catch him in the room and look at him for a bit. And he'll be sent back. But if you take too long in trying to find him, he will jump scare you. It's a more fair version of the Puppet, if you know. And man, the voice lines he says are outright disturbing. I would talk more, but just play it yourself, darn it. Extras. These are games that never made it in the video for one reason. They're not different enough. Like for instance, a good friend of mine on Steam and Discord wanted me to play Return to Freddy's and Return to Winter Wonderland, but they're just a bit too similar to FNAF 1 in my opinion. And FNAF 2, they're just not different enough. Like the Egg Boy's art style is quite generally unique, and the real-time 3D of Phobia is genius, but this feels a bit too similar to FNAF 1. I did have to break it to my friend, who greeted me in the nicest way possible. Sorry, boss.
You failed me for the last time!
He'll get off it. It might take him a while because he's mercilessly stalking me through Roblox games. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. It took me a bit to make it, just like doing small edits and all that. If you think I'm worthy, give me a like and a subscription. If not, just comment down below and tell me where I need to improve. I know this video was a bit long, but I had fun making it, and I hope you had fun watching it. Oh, and here's some gameplay for a nice game I quite enjoy, Spore. I quite enjoy making critters in it. I'm making a moose-looking critter with plants covering it head to toe. I think I'm gonna end my videos with me making a small creation from now on. Just, I don't know. Just to show off my creativity. I like Spore. I hope you enjoyed today's video and have a good one.
Ah!